iHeart Chiropractic, Episode 2. I know a few things for sure. We don't have unlimited days. We have to choose carefully what we'll do. We don't have every January from now on I will. We have a certain number of Januaries. We may not see the end of our road, but it's out there somewhere. I suggest we not take time for granted. I suggest we not take our lives for granted. It's not about seeing how possible it is to get through the day without hearing no. It's about being willing to step out of your comfort zone, being willing to approach, being willing to confront, being willing to talk and share and speak and spread the word, regardless of the reaction. Hoping for the best, but not being destroyed if someone says no. On to the next. You're listening to iHeart Chiropractic with Dr. Stephen Mills, the video and audio podcast series dedicated to serving and uplifting philosophically based, subluxation-based, drug-free chiropractic and the chiropractic lifestyle as a way of living that best supports our bodies by minimizing chemical, emotional, and physical trauma and supporting our body's innate capacity to thrive and flourish. Let's all unite around these truths, spread the word, and make this a better world for everyone. Welcome to iHeart Chiropractic. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of iHeart Chiropractic. I am your host, Dr. Stephen Mills, and I really appreciate you stopping by to check us out for this episode. This was a special episode for me to create because we're going to have tons of information in future episodes from sources other than myself. And I wanted to, early on in this series, put at least one episode up there with messages specifically from me about chiropractic, my feelings on the profession, on the lifestyle, living a lifestyle conducive to the chiropractic philosophy, as well as the role chiropractic is playing in our world, the effect healthcare in general, and is having on people in our society, and the role that chiropractic, I believe, ought to be elevated to in our society. And so that's what I did here, is actually on the 119th birthday of chiropractic, September 18th, 2014, that I recorded this message, and it was quite a bit longer, and I edited it down to something that would be hopefully cohesive and coherent of a message. So I really hope you enjoy the message. Please check in at any time. Send me an email if you have any thoughts about what you've heard or any recommendations for future episodes. I'd love to hear from you. My email is simply drmills@iheartchiropractic.com. That's DRMILLS at iheartchiropractic.com. Enjoy the talk, and I look forward to seeing you immediately after. Hello everybody, this is Dr. Stephen Mills from San Diego, California, iHeart Chiropractic, bringing you the premiere episode of Purpose-Driven Chiropractic. I am so excited today for several reasons. First of all, it is great to be here. We need more voices, more passionate, enthusiastic chiropractors out there changing lives for the better in their offices, adjusting subluxations, helping to educate people as it relates to living the chiropractic lifestyle in every decision they make. Whether it's rest, exercise, nutrition, what we're putting into our bodies, how we're sleeping at night, how we're taking care of ourselves. All those decisions can be made with the realization in mind that our body is a self-healing, self-regulating organism that works best when it's free of nerve interference. Additionally, today happens to be Thursday, September 18th, 2014, which is exactly to the day 119 years when D.D. Palmer first adjusted Harvey Lillard in Davenport, Iowa, making this the 119th birthday of chiropractic. It's a very exciting day for me, and I hope that every year, each of you will set aside some of your day on September 18th to celebrate this beautiful profession, this gift that we all have been given. I've watched patients come through the door with very little faith of any kind, turn around to realize excitement, enthusiasm about their quality of life. I've seen miracles take place in the office. And after a while, you realize they aren't miracles as much as they are as the normal, healthy capacity of the body simply doing its job, simply being allowed to do its job better, free from nerve interference as a result of the chiropractic adjustment. Some of you are passionately in love with your work, and some of you are just grinding from day to day, just getting by. For some of you, your practice is your life and your love, and for others, it's a paycheck. It's a way to make a car or a house payment, and everyone else is somewhere in between on that spectrum. Wherever you are, I'm just glad you found this podcast series. I happen to be one of those chiropractors who's extremely passionate about what I do. I look at so many people around me falling for what the media projects, falling for the messages out there that suggest that it's okay just to numb the human body in order to get through the day just a little bit easier. I see people buying the messages that anytime you feel a symptom of any kind that the body is stupid and that it deserves to be named as a new disease condition. As many of you already know, powerful forces out there that know that billions and billions and billions of dollars are at stake are finding ways to sink their teeth deep into the lifeblood of Americans. There are certain organizations in the United States and abroad that are perfectly happy to manufacture and distribute illegal drugs. They calculate how many years it takes to move into and eventually sell on a large scale in a new town, and how many years it'll take to begin making hundreds of thousands and eventually millions out of a virgin town. Many of these drug traffickers are fed from foreign sources. Many are domestic. But what they all have in common is that they prey on the tendencies, the vulnerabilities, the weaknesses of American citizens, of men, women, and children who want to fit in, who are suffering with lots of stress, who don't know better, or who are struggling with depression and are seeking some way to numb themselves. Maybe they want sex, maybe they want companionship, maybe they want to be popular, so they take a drug. In any case, what they all share is they're willing to sacrifice and undermine what could otherwise be a healthy, optimally functioning human body. Then there are companies that operate, quote unquote, within the confines of the law. However, as most of us know, that's a joke too. But their stock can be bought and sold. They appear to be operating legally, morally, and ethically. But they produce chemicals on massive scales that also change the way people perceive pain, change the way people perceive their overall life experience. They know that like people are vulnerable to craving salts, fats, and sugars, we also want to experience more pleasure and avoid pain. So these massive organizations, massive companies, produce on massive scale pharmaceuticals that do just that. Change the way we perceive our life experience, and they sell billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of these pharmaceuticals and chemicals, pushing them and pumping them into cities and towns, schools and corporations, hospitals, urgent care centers. In no way do I mean to suggest that medical doctors shouldn't exist at all. I was helped significantly by a hand surgery in high school. I suffered a broken bone in my hand. My family physician and a talented surgeon helped repair a broken bone in my hand when I was young. To this day, a scar remains and is a reminder of my accident that took place during high school football and the surgery that followed. It restored significant function to my hand, and I appreciate what they did for me. I appreciate that those resources were there for me at that time. I also have a relative very near and dear to me who suffered due to a trauma as a child, grand mal epileptic seizures until the age of near 30 in her late 20s, until a brain surgery which removed part of the right temporal lobe cured the seizures. She got her driver's license for the first time in her life at age 30. It's not that I suggest that surgeons don't exist, that medical doctors don't exist. It's the massive, powerful forces screaming through marketing and advertisements to people of our country and of the world that every area of our life is better off with this pharmaceutical or that pharmaceutical that does the greatest harm. And it's the unique job that we have as chiropractors to scream loud and far the message that our body comes complete with an inner wisdom, an intelligent guiding instinct or innate intelligence that when able to operate free of interference can coordinate the systems of the body, that when taken care of, when we're rested, when we're properly nourished, when we maintain a lifestyle complete with exercise and motion and movement, and when we are adjusted, when a talented, competent chiropractor is allowed to detect, locate, and correct vertebral subluxation, the body is then best able to heal, regulate, and manage, providing the best possible life experience for that patient. that we need not line up at the pharmacy for the latest chemical that interrupts the body's ability to do this, that masks the body's ability to perceive that. And there aren't enough people out there telling that story. Most of the medical professions seem to turn a blind eye to the fact that Americans are being poisoned in massive, massive numbers. The amount of pharmaceuticals being consumed by our senior citizens is unimaginable. As a doctor of chiropractic, it is our obligation to care. It is our obligation to read, listen to, and study the word and the messages passed to us from the founders of this beautiful profession, and to communicate those ideas to our patients and to the public. People are dying to hear what we have. I ask each of you to carefully meditate on what drives you, to calculate the magnitude of the purpose that you carry within you. How strong is your passion for chiropractic? How shy are you as it relates to telling the story? Or on the other hand, how willing are you to reach out and share the story with someone? Are you willing to hand a business card and share a kind word about chiropractic care to a person limping and struggling, but not to a woman with child? Or are you willing to approach a woman with child about chiropractic care and the story, but not someone strolling by who appears to be functioning perfectly normally? Would any one of those three people need chiropractic more than any of the others? I personally don't think there's a way to calculate that answer. The person who seems to be strolling by might need chiropractic every bit as much as a person who has a noticeable limp. I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that there's no way to know for sure. How strong is your conviction? I know a few things for sure. Our days are limited. We don't have unlimited days. We have to choose carefully what we'll do. We don't have every January from now on I will. We have a certain number of Januaries. We may not see the end of our road, but it's out there somewhere. I suggest we not take time for granted. I suggest we not take our lives for granted. I suggest we be willing to step out of our comfort zone, not allow our concerns as it relates to what someone might say to us about chiropractic. I listen to a lot of business philosophy and Brian Tracy and Jim Rohn and other business philosophers, and they talk all the time about rejection, as do many chiropractors. It's not about seeing how possible it is to get through the day without hearing no. It's about being willing to step out of your comfort zone, being willing to approach, being willing to confront, being willing to talk and share and speak and spread the word, regardless of the reaction. Hoping for the best, but not being destroyed if someone says no. On to the next. Unfortunately, for many reasons and due to many forces, many people are out there in the community suffering. There are parents drifting day to day, struggling with commutes, getting by on energy shots and all sorts of chemical stimulants just to get through the day. And not only are they wrecking their own selves, but they're also harming their children and their children's children. I'm very concerned for the children in our country. That concern starts with my concern for their parents. We have an entire generation of people, or the last couple generations, consuming shocking amounts of pharmaceuticals, buying hook, line, and sinker this idea that health is found in a bottle, that if I take this tablet, this pill, this prescription, I'll be better off. Which brings me back to their children. They're grown up around this. They're seeing this as an example. My greatest concern is that they're going to be all too willing to follow that example. So I encourage each of you, whether you're a practicing doctor or a student in chiropractic college, to accept today the idea that your voice matters, your vote matters. It can't just be a job. You can't just show up to the office, invest a few dollars in a local coupon magazine, and benefit by your marketing and enjoy a particular resulting lifestyle. This has to be more than that. We've been given more than that. Ask the legends in chiropractic. They will talk very, very briefly about what they drive and the community they live in and their square footage of their house. They will spend very, very little time on that. Not that we don't want to enjoy those things, not that we don't want to be comfortable, that we don't want to to live in a safe community, that we want to be able to travel when opportunities arise for teaching or for recreation with our family. But that can't be why we do what we do. Going back to what I was just saying, we have to do what we do in order to reach out to the lives that are at stake, to the millions of people who are blindly accepting a story that living on poison is okay, that are blindly accepting a story void of any information at all as it relates to the grace, the beauty, the power, and the potential of a healthy, functioning human body. The message is not being told. It's our responsibility, it's our calling, it's our duty as chiropractors to get up each day, to go out there, reach people in their homes, reach people at their places of work, in the community, and tell them the truth. Tell them how powerful their body is, how beautiful life can be when you're not on life support. It would be wonderful if life support was there for people who are coming out of traumatic experiences. Maybe they're at the very, very end of their lives and their bodies are beginning to slow down naturally. Life support buys some time, more time with friends, more time with family. Life support allows a struggling body that's just been through a trauma to build strength again and to then heal and recover. But so many people are so sick because they've lived an entire life polluting their body with filthy chemicals, living a life void of movement and motion, that they end up on life support and intoxicating pharmaceuticals for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years of their lives. In my opinion, it's an embarrassing atrocity. Our society moves so quickly nowadays. Technology, the viral explosion of cell phone electronics, the unbelievable explosion of internet access to every aspect of our lives, the ease and convenience with which international communication now takes place. News is all over the world in a millisecond. Things are happening so quickly in our world nowadays, and it's so easy to sweep under the rug the catastrophic toll that our dependence on pharmaceuticals is taking on the lifeblood of our society and our world. With the amazing advancements in technology and communication and electronics, we cannot afford to lose that which is most human about us, which is the beautiful innate ability and capacity that the human body has to function optimally when it's not polluted and it's not detrimentally affected by vertebral subluxation. Whether it's a pinched nerve, or like Dan Murphy talks about, proprioceptive bed disturbance, setting up an adverse afferent-efferent reflex, hurting the systemic health of the individual. You have many definitions of vertebral subluxation. It makes perfect sense to me that most of the definitions I heard could detrimentally affect the otherwise healthy, optimal function of an individual's central nervous system. So we can't afford to be consumed by the otherwise frantic pace of our world. Not long ago, talk about a patient trusting their doctor. I have a patient handed me the key to a $250,000 Ferrari, California. Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful car. I learned firsthand what power start means. You have to Google it and look it up if you're not familiar with that power start in a Ferrari, California. It's pretty amazing. We'll just say that my face ached after accelerating faster than I've ever accelerated in anything in my life. It's basically a race car on the street. Pretty unbelievable experience. You have IMAX movies now. Lose yourself in them. Unbelievable 3D, ground-shaking audio. Internet allowing us to talk to anyone in the world, anytime, 24/7. Let's celebrate these trophies of technology and innovation. Let's celebrate all these conveniences and advancements that have been made available to us in this day and age. Let's enjoy intercontinental flight, but let's not forget that which is most core to all of us. We can't afford to. I was talking with a friend recently, and I said, you know the sun is a star, and it's eventually destined to burn out. Last I heard it several billion years from now, so most of us probably won't witness that day. But our sun, the center of our solar system, is a star. As it loses mass, as more and more and more of the sun's mass converts to energy, its gravitational pull will become less and less and less. It'll be less capable of hanging on to the matter and gases that make up the sun. So it will grow and expand. My understanding is the sun will eventually expand large enough where it could actually basically swallow the Earth's orbit. So it grows very, very large. Then as it burns out further, it'll collapse back in on itself and become a white dwarf, basically ending the solar system as we know it today. So all these technological advances, our ability as chiropractors to help restore natural, optimal, healthy function within the human being, within the body of our family, friends, and patients. All of this I was talking with a friend the other day about, I hope will lead to some means of locating another solar system, finding a solar system with a planet similar to Earth. One of the people I suggested be on that spaceship would be a chiropractor. And however many billions of years from now, the human race will experience an end of this solar system, however many billions of years from now. And I hope between now and then, methods are accomplished that would allow us to discover another solar system. And what I was talking with my friend about was I hope to God they have a chiropractor on that spaceship. That's how important I think it is what we do. That if human beings are allowed to find another solar system, they better have a chiropractor on that spaceship. Because we are the one profession, the one group, the one voice who stands for the message that the human body needs the chance to operate in a manner free from vertebral subluxation, free from nerve impingement, free from adverse reflexes affecting the systemic health of the body, free from a body where action potentials, nerve life instructions to the viscera are not being overly excited or inhibited by musculoskeletal dysfunction. That's what we do as chiropractors. That's who we are as chiropractors. Pain has a very small amount to do with it. I tell my patients on a regular basis, God, I hope you feel better as a result of what I do. I hope your pain is diminished, but whether it is or not, you deserve to function optimally. I'm going to do everything in my power to help restore and maintain optimal balance, range of motion, symmetry, function within your spine, within your vertebral column and musculoskeletal nervous system, best allowing your central nervous system to control and coordinate all of the functions of your body, those that you can feel and perceive and those that you can't. That's my purpose with chiropractic care, to leave a major mark on the lives of everyone I can reach with the chiropractic adjustment and the message of the chiropractic lifestyle. It's about giving. As a young boy, I realized around the age 10 or 12 that I'd received more love from my mother than many people would in an entire lifetime. And it hit me like an 18-wheeler. If I'd received more love by the age of 10 or 11 than many people would in their entire lives, it only made sense to me that everything from that point on would be icing on the cake. Bonus points. So by the time I decided to become a chiropractor at 18 years old, I decided to give it all. I decided to give everything I had to this profession. When I learned the power of what chiropractic has to offer, I fell in love. And I realized that this could be my vehicle to reach out and change the lives of people I interact with. Looking back now, I realize that when I started to pursue chiropractic, I only understood a small fraction of the potential that chiropractic has to change the lives of individuals and our society as a whole for the better. I've been practicing for 17 years now. At the time of this recording, 2014, it's been 17 years since 1997. In a sense, it feels like it's been a lifetime. And from another perspective, it feels like I've just begun. So for me, this is way more about anything I could ever get from the work. It's a thrill and a joy to be blessed by chiropractic and to be a chiropractor, to have the opportunity every day to go out and reach people. So my message with purpose-driven chiropractic will be to over and over and over reach out to chiropractors and encourage them to stay on purpose, Stay on track. Choose to serve people. Don't worry about what you get in return. Do it for the love. Everybody will tell you. There's plenty to gain as a chiropractor. The people you'll meet, the places you'll go, the opportunities that we stand to enjoy as chiropractors can't be measured. When you help enough people achieve what they want, you'll be able to enjoy anything that you want. Knowing that allows you to take whatever attention, energy, or worry you may have about what you want to gain. It allows you to take that out of the equation. It's there. It allows you to get back to work. It allows you to keep that brain energy, that thought capacity that we have, and focus it back on the patient, on loving your patient. Whether it takes 3 minutes or 30 minutes to treat somebody, whether it's a newborn or a 99-year-old patient or a 120-year-old patient, whether they're mobile or experiencing a disability, they deserve love. They deserve optimal function. Charlie Ward told a story about how he was concerned about the time it took to care for elders, and he shared that with his parents, and it crushed them. He took a 180 with his approach, and instead got a bus and drove around and picked up seniors during a designated time. Those who couldn't even get to his office, in a bus, picked them up and took them to his office and treated them. That's being on purpose. That is shutting out any tendency to strictly streamline the process. Oh, it's not convenient to help this person or that person. Everybody deserves to live subluxation free, and that is a responsibility that lies on our shoulders. Other people aren't gonna do it. Your average, ordinary, run-of-the-mill pediatrician's not gonna do it. Osteopath is not gonna do it. Family physician's not gonna do it. I heard at one point in time, and the accuracy of this needs to be verified, but I've heard that somewhere between 9 and 30 seconds of a patient walking into a general practitioner's office, they've already chosen a pharmaceutical to prescribe that patient. I'm not going to go down that path further at this time. But my point being, they're not going to do it. It's our responsibility. It's our task. So help that person who's young. Help that person who's old. Help that person with a disability. Help that senior. Help that athlete. Help that mother, that father, that child, that grandchild, that grandfather, that CEO, that maintenance personnel. I encourage you to grow that spirit within you. Another thing you might notice about this episode is I have not once mentioned comfort zone. We have a blessing and a duty and a responsibility to communicate to people these principles. I suggest you check your comfort zone at the door. Enroll in Toastmasters International. Just dive into the pool. Show up at one of your patients' job upon invitation. Explain to them what it is that you do. Then do it again and do it again. I can't see all the patients in the world. The best chiropractors in the world can't see all of the patients in the world. There are certain patients waiting for you to treat them. I can't do it. I can't treat those people, but you can. Maybe they're not in my community. Maybe they're not in my neighborhood. They're not near where I work. They're not within my sphere of influence, but they might be within your sphere of influence. So it's our responsibility to leave that thumbprint on our world. I encourage you to reach out. Join a local chiropractic organization. Join a state or national chiropractic association. Plug into a local philosophy club, chiropractic group. There are quite a few springing up around the country and abroad. One of the most powerful influences in my life in recent years has been Dr. Thomas Lamar's Spinal Column Radio. Holy smokes. Talk about service. Talk about an unprecedented collection of knowledge, information, ideas, enthusiasm, motivation, resources, tips, tricks. I mean, plug into Spinal Column Radio. There's so many resources out there to tune into. YouTube is exploding. Videos, interviews. Become a student of chiropractic even if you've been out for 40 years. Stay a student of chiropractic if you're close to graduating. Allow school to last the rest of your life. Don't become complacent. Allow yourself to be washed in the chiropractic philosophy, or dipped, as they like to say. Become steeped in the chiropractic word. People will say, oh, you don't need that. You already have your degree. You have your clinical equipment. You've got a good reputation in your community. What more do you need? BS. All of us are better off when we're fed, nourished, encouraged, inspired by those brothers and sisters who are out there every day making a difference, telling the word, sharing the story, adjusting spines. Launch your own podcast series. Write a book. People need what you have. I need what you have. I only have my story. I don't have your story. If you share your story, I benefit by that. I hope with every fiber of being, my story and my podcast series helps you. I ask that you remain close to this podcast series. Purpose-driven chiropractic comes from a huge heart, a lot of passion, and 17 years of sweat and blood and tears. But most of all, it comes from joy. A sincere person who is deeply in love with chiropractic. And we need you to feel the same way about this beautiful profession. So happy birthday to chiropractic, 119 years today. As I said earlier, may there be thousands and thousands of more years of this beautiful, life-revitalizing profession. In future purpose-driven chiropractic episodes, it will be my goal to bring to you powerful words and messages from the most dynamic personalities in this profession today. We all need to grow, and we will all grow more successfully if we are united. I love each of you for celebrating this special podcast episode with me. Call us, email, stay in touch. Thank you for being with us today. Hold your head up high. Let's all band together in love, in service, and in chiropractic. I can't wait to see each of you soon at a workshop or another gathering. God bless. Hello and welcome back. I really appreciate you taking some time out to listen to our episode today. It was certainly a wild experience for me recording this episode, and I felt pretty charged up after and pretty fired up and motivated. So I hope something in there will speak to you. It was a very passionate message, to say the least. And if you get anything from this message, I hope you get that I really, really love chiropractic care. I love the message that chiropractic stands for. And I love the idea that our society is in a lot of trouble in many ways. And I think the chiropractic message needs to be heard. So I hope those of you who heard this message will go back to your practices this afternoon. We'll go back to your practices tomorrow morning, fired up, and be more vocal about what it is that we do. Because Lord knows more people need to hear about what we do. And so anyway, thanks again for stopping by. I really hope to see you again soon in future episodes. Next episode is going to be an amazing episode. I have an interview. It's called The 100-Mile Wedding, and I'd like to leave some mystery for you to discover in the next episode. But I will be interviewing my beautiful wife, Marissa, and she has an amazing life story, an amazing athletic story, and it's sort of a come from behind story, and it all pertains to chiropractic. So episode 3, the 100-Mile Wedding, is going to be a great episode that you need to stop by for and you need to check out. So I will really look forward to seeing you then. Until then, adjust, and we'll see you next time. All information contained in this video blog, audio podcast episode, and on the iHeart Chiropractic website is intended to provide a fun and interactive learning experience. It is not intended to serve as advice with regard to any specific health condition that you may have, but is intended for general health and wellness educational purposes only. This is not a substitute for seeking appropriate care by a doctor of chiropractic or qualified healthcare professional of your choice with respect to a specific condition that you may have. As a recipient of the information from this podcast episode or the iHeart Chiropractic website, you are not establishing a doctor-patient relationship with any chiropractor or physician. There is no replacement for individualized care and advice from your personal chiropractor or qualified healthcare professional of your choice.